Hello everyone, Panda here, and welcome to another Nikke video. This time we're featuring D against Modernia. This video acts as a follow-up to my previous video, which I had an early analysis on D, linked to that in the top right, but the main point is to show me eating my words, saying that there was no shortcut to Modernia. This is prior to D's release, but with her existence, there is a shortcut to destroying her core. This video will also showcase a technique to prevent Modernia from teleporting everywhere when you destroy her wings. This technique is important because D's burst skill allows your team to deal extra damage to boss part for 15 seconds, while a full burst only lasts normally for 10 seconds, meaning there's a 5-second window in which your AI controlled Nikkes are doing extra damage to the wings, which might not be desirable. But before we go any further, I want to showcase in a side-by-side video comparison how much faster I can destroy the core using D. Obviously, I'm using a totally non-realistic team here with Scarlet, who's super juiced to the gills, but what I found was that D allowed me to destroy the core 40% faster. Obviously, there are some uncontrollable variables, such as Scarlet's critical hits, and also damage dealt based off of her health remaining. On the left is gameplay with D, and on the right without D. As you can see on the left, we reach a full burst very early on due to D's skill 2, which allows us to deal massive damage to her core. And in addition to that, D's burst skill allows us to deal additional damage to the core, which we want to break as soon as possible to prevent her from using the beam attack again. And one more thing on D's burst skill, it allows us to become immune to stuns, which means I can face tank one of the laser attacks and continue to just shoot through it to deal more damage. And now back to my gameplay, where I'll share some tips and tricks with D. And at the end of the video, I'll share some revised thoughts on using D against special interception bosses. So hopefully everyone's familiar with the first tip already, but it is to skip the intro animation after Modernia shows up. This will force your AI controlled Nikkes to all attack the core. Next, enter full burst using D's burst 3 because that allows your team to deal extra damage to the core. Now for the bombs, I'm using my noise iframe / dodging technique to not take any damage. You can find a step-by-step video where I teach you how to do this, link in the top right. Now for the rest of the fight in terms of DPS, you have two choices. Normally we would avoid shooting the wings because once they're both destroyed, she enters its teleportation phase, or we can deliberately choose to shoot the wings because we do more damage using D's burst, but we'll need to make use of a technique to make sure that Modernia does not enter that really annoying teleportation phase. This technique also comes in handy when we face Modernia once again in hard campaign at the end of chapter 7. So the trick to prevent Modernia from entering the teleportation phase is actually quite simple and straightforward, but the timing is quite narrow and particular. You essentially want to destroy the last remaining wing right when Modernia is moving backwards, so there's only a small window of time that you can do this. There are some ways to help you manage the timing. One is to put your entire team in cover so that they're not shooting the wing where they're not supposed to, or to hold back your full burst until Modernia is moving backwards and the wing is already really low on health, so you're able to destroy it the instant Modernia starts moving backwards. And you can see in my gameplay, I'm employing both of these methods. So now onto my final thoughts on using D. Against Modernia, D certainly offers a new and faster way of getting past her core phase, and I highly recommend using her for people who do have issues getting past that first DPS check on this boss. Now, however, I believe that using a composition built with D, you'll end up having a much lower overall level of DPS, which will make getting to stage 9 rewards really difficult. And using D will likely mean that you'll need to use the trick involving breaking the wing at the right time, which might be a little tricky, involving multiple retries if you mess up the timing. So in summary, if you're a new player and you have D and you can't get past the core DPS check, go ahead and use her, but just to set some expectations, you're probably not going to get a stage 9 clear. If you could get a stage 9 clear, it means you have enough DPS and you probably could have destroyed the core in some other way without D. So I hope this video helped people out, especially for those that are having a bit of difficulty destroying the core in time. If it did help you out, I'd appreciate it if you can drop a like and subscribe. Best of luck on your double rate rewards this weekend, and see you all in the next one.